Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Raid. We've got Pythion's Fragment event starting, and we have all of the listed events and tournaments popping up. We also have a post by Plarium. You need to be very careful when going into this fusion in order to achieve it. It's not an unusual type of fusion. We have all the events and tournaments that we had before, but I'm going to give you some tips and the farming zones to be aware of when doing these kind of fusions. If it's the first time that you've been encountering this type of fusion fragment collection, I call them, it's the same thing really. You just need to collect all the pieces, either it being new champions or fragments to get the champion that is being offered every month. Right, that's how raid works. If you haven't been saving your resources, then you're gonna have a bad time, because these will not be easy type of events. We have some of these starting up already, and I'll give you an example of this one. Champion training tournament. So this one, look at that, 8,000 points to get 15 of the fragments required. This is gonna be rough, okay? Especially because you gotta do champion training in about 3 days and 23 hours. If you're free to play, you gotta have either saved up some energy, saved up some of those energies that we're given every other day by raid for free in your mailbox, or just be aware of the other ways that you can save energy through your advanced quest and your normal quest. Okay, that being said, 8,000 is not usually the mark. Usually they're about 9,000, which is probably where I am gonna go. 12,000 is for the legendary skill tone, which it's nice to have, but if you're very strict with your resources, you got to go for the 8,000 and stop there. We also get the anniversary points here, which is expected, but here, I mean, they usually had another gem area right here. So instead of that, they give anniversary points. So that's where they're cheating you with stealing your giving you points and stealing the rewards that you would get from other sources. And the anniversary rewards are kind of bad. So going into the tournaments, if we go in there, we have other types of tournaments, the ice golem and the champion chase starting. These will be the ones that make it so difficult. And I've made an infographic, or I'm gonna call it an infographic. I made a breakdown of what I think those farming zones will be. This is the post by Plarium. This is the fragment event calendar that they show. They explain every single one of these events in text form if you want to have a look at those. And they do mention that you can get up to 155 champion fragments if you can top the leaderboards, which is very rough, because only 1 in 100 players can actually top the leaderboards, can get to the top, right? So be very careful of what they're saying. This is not the reality. It's very hard to get all those fragments. You got to get first or second to get those fragments. So it gets rough. So this is the fragment event calendar, which I made a few a few rectangles there with different colors, and I will explain the farming zones, what I mean by that. So the farming zone is this red rectangle that you see here. So actually you shouldn't start working on the fusion today as you're seeing this video. You need to wait for about 20 hours or so until the dungeon divers event starts. Do not use up your energy. I would recommend, just if you are at this point where you have like 600 or so, you can use it in champion training. It's not going to do that much of a difference. But if you have way lower than that, if you are under the cap, just use it, go to 0, and it's going to regenerate by tomorrow. Don't feel too much about it. But if you have a lot of energy, like over 1,000, 2,000, then yeah, save it until tomorrow for the farming zone. So that's when the champion training will coincide with the dungeon divers and the ice golem. That's when you need to be going heavy in all of those areas in order to get all the fragments required. So the 15 from the champion training event, the dungeon divers, the 5 there, it's probably going to be a little bit difficult, and dungeon divers is not easy to pick up fragments. And then the ice golem, okay, you have January 13th, 14th, and 15th, right? So 3 days to get all of these fragments advertised from these areas. Okay, dungeon divers you can get away with during the Fire Night tournament. This is another farming zone where you can, in the first day or so of the Fire Night, you can actually farm points in there and also do the dungeon divers. But be very careful, because after that you won't be getting dungeon divers. So if you don't complete dungeon divers during these two rectangles, then you're gonna have a bad time, right? Just saying that. As long as you can finish dungeon divers here and you're not done with Fire Night, you're fine to just keep on doing it. In terms of classic arena, you need to do it. There's no other way around it. In terms of artifact enhancement, save all of your silver and only upgrade your gear when these are up, because it's going to be 1, 2, 3 of them. There's no way to skip around those unless you finish first or second in the tournaments, in any of the tournaments. If you do, then you're doing very, very well. That being said, Champion Chase and Summon Rush, I've made a green rectangle for you guys to see, and that is because you can only lose 15 fragments in total from those. As a player who's going to go for this fragment collection, if you're looking for 115 fragments available, this is the whole screen, okay? Except for getting first. The 15 fragments that you should lose from the 115 should be from either Champion Chase tournament or the Summon Rush, okay? You have to get at least 5 on the Champion Chase tournament as an example, and then get the remaining 20 from the Summon Rush. So you lose 15 here, or actually you can actually skip the Champion Chase and get the Summon Rush done. But the Summon Rush will be very, very difficult. It will require a lot of, you know, high quality shards to complete. So the Champion Chase tournament, you can lose the 15 here, and then the other 5, those will be extra. But usually the 5 here will be easy, and then the Summon Rush will be very difficult, especially for the free-to-play. So be very careful here. And then as we're going into the Champion Training, the Spider Tournament, and the Dungeon Divers 2, this is another farming zone which you need to be aware of, where you need to do the Champion Training during the Dungeon Divers. All right, Spider Tournament during the Dungeon Divers, because this will also be difficult, and the Spider Tournament you'll have like an extra day to complete. Classic Arena has to be done, and Dragon Tournament has to be done. All right, so 15 total fragments that you can lose. You can choose, if you are going to go heavy with summons, you can choose a different tournament or Classic Arena or an event to skip, completely skip and not use your resources. It's all up to you, but be very careful. These are the farming zones where, as a, you know, tight budgeted person playing this game, where you save up all of these free gifts from us to you. These are given for playing. If you're saving these up, and maybe you've bought like a pack and have been saving some energy, this will be required when the time comes. Also, you need to be very efficient with stuff like the Champion Training. You need to be using your brews very, very careful. As an example, you don't just go up to any kind of, let's use a 3-star as an example. You don't go and use all your brews to get the easy, you know, level ups and do that. If you have energy, you do Champion Training. If you got brews and you got food champions, then you go about doing this. You can do like 1 brew on the 2-star ones, okay? That's a lot of easy points. I wouldn't recommend going with brews on the 2-star ones, but with the 3 stars, you can do 1 brew. That gives a lot of points as well. With 4 stars, you do 2 or 3 brews. It's all up to you and how many brews you have been saving up, okay? If you're tight on energy, you can use your brews, and you do 3 brews. That takes you to level 18, and that is a lot of points. Then on the 5 stars, that's when the really big amount of points come. Let me see if I have a 5-star to show you here. The 5 stars, the amount of points that you get, you need to do, I believe, enough for it to go to about level 26 or so. So 7 brews is okay, and this is a ton of points during the Champion Training, so have that in mind. During the Champion Training tournaments, though, you can also get points from your books. So if you have a champion that you want to fully book, let me put this on full screen to make it easier to see. If you want to have a champion to fully book, only book them during the Champion Training tournament. The events, the Champion Training events, do not give you points for booking up a champion. The tournaments, though, they give you the same way that they give you points for ascending a champion. This doesn't work during the Champion Training event. And then everything else, okay, everything else, it's normal. It's like the tournaments. It's going to be dragon farming. It's going to be the usual stuff. There isn't going to be something that is like a brand new event. Even this one, the Anniversary Titan events, these are the ones we got used to. I'm going to be saving the bronze chests and all the chests just to show to everyone on how disappointing Plarium will be by the end of their 12 weeks. Anyway, guys, this was the video. Thank you so much. I hope I helped you with this fusion that is coming. This is the first one of the year. I think it's a solid one. It's not a fantastic champion that will completely change an account, but having block debuffs available to you, all right, from where is, boom, let's go. Where is the fusion champ? Pythion. Having a cleanse and a block debuffs available to you on a 3-turn cooldown is a very, very, very strong start to any account, or even any account that requires a block debuffs for a part of the game. It's not just clan boss. Sometimes the Hydra, you need the block debuffs. It helps you a lot with all those poisons that and the provokes the Hydra applies. You need the block debuffs for the Doom Tower. It's a very, very strong buff to have, and not so many champions have it available on a 3-turn cooldown with a 2-turn duration. So just that is very huge for a a champion that you can, get with a plan. If you have a plan, you can get this guy. And there's also the passive, which is an additional damage mitigation passive. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.